So I want to learn how to make this edge. I don't know how to use a router, so I know Chris does, so I'm gonna see if he'll teach me.
All right, so I clamped the wood down, so you're not gonna be able to go all the way around, but I figured that's safer, so you got your hands away.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very simple. I've already got the bit in that you need. All right, hold on to it like this, turn it on. So on the bottom here, it's got a bearing. And what the bearing's gonna do is it's gonna ride along the edge of the wood.
Okay.
So you just drop it on. You tried it around like that. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Okay.
I guess you said edge, but I didn't have to sit there and do the sander 101 times.
Okay. Are you ready?
Am I ready? I don't know. We'll find out.
Keep this mounted. Okay, so you're gonna hold on to it like that.
Like this.
Yep. Switch is on the back.
Okay.
Turn it on.
Is it really powerful?
So you want to start back behind it and then ride forward.
What?
So when you were looking for it, you were tilting it like this.
Oh, okay.
So if you're gonna look at it, if you turn it this way, you can see.
Okay, well I need to see what I'm doing. I'm a visual.
So.
Okay.
Let me change this angle a little more.
I'm a visual.
Don't start it on.
Okay.
On there.
Start it on the wood. Where's the on switch?
Switch is here.
They make tools for guys' hands. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect.
You want me to clean it up though for you?
If you feel like you want to. It's going to go in between everything.
When you do it, you always want to be pulling it into the wood though.
I thought it was. Oh, yeah. Alrighty then.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, we're good to go. A routed edge. Who would have thunk it? So we decided that I'm the cleanup crew. Something about pulling back my hair. I'm like, never mind. If you're here and you don't mind doing it, go ahead and round those edges for me. I'll sweep up. I'm good at that. So I always say you have to be new at something sometime. I've never used a router. Thank you for Chris for trying to teach me. Now my hair's up today, but last night when he was showing me how to use the router, I'm like, yeah, I'll just let you go ahead and do it. I could kind of tell he wanted to anyway. Anyway, worried about my fingers. So this is a salvaged piece, very chippy, that I repainted. I don't even know how long ago, but I use it to stage my items a lot. And also most of my items on eBay, they're small. Stand on this, sit on this, rest on this. And I get asked, is this for sale? Is this for sale? Is this for sale? And I'm like, no. They're not easy to come by. So I've been trying to search for salvage to be able to, and I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to order, because you can order like cuts of wood already cut from Amazon, in squares and rounds. And look at, this isn't even I'm like, I'll just show you how to make one similar. That's what I needed. I needed that route. I didn't want it to be, though I didn't realize that piece is, oh, I remember this was a big round that I put on it. It was one of these big old guys that I think I finished that off. Trying to remember what I did. I don't have any of those, so we won't be doing that today. But I have some squares and I'm going to put with some scallops. I have some we're just going to lay here. We're going to make decor risers. They're still, people love their decor and they like a place to put them and gather their yummies all together, make a little special that you can change out. So let me see if I can recreate something similar. It's not going to be an exact match, y'all, but it's going to be close. It's going to be nice. It's just going to be. So you can get like a set of 4 of these. Now, yeah, it's not like that thick, but it's a nice square. And then I'm like, can I have pine, please? So when I stain it and paint it to make it look older, we got that going on. So I got 2 different sizes of rounds, and then Chris routered that for me. I still need to do a little bit of sanding. So I had actually ordered 2 different sizes because I was like, you know, I'm like, yeah, that would work. But I'm like, yeah, that would be, you know, like, it's fun to layer them up, right? Isn't that the whole point? Like, it doesn't have to be a complete match, but it'd be nice to layer it. So then we have that, and then we put that there, and then put that upside down. So we're making a sandwich here. And then I actually have some of these. These are just Hobby Lobby little thin things, because I guess I couldn't find those rounds that day. And then we will attach it. So it's a lot of attaching. But see why I need that bigger base on there? It just didn't look right if I just did that one. Because I had these on hand and I wanted to use these up. So we got a lot of little gluing to do. So that's what we're going to start. Gluing. Like, there's not much to like brad nail because these are so thin, but okay, let's get to it. Okay, tight bond. I always tend to use too much glue, but not always part of it. And then the perfectly imperfect. How much squish out. Sometimes it's just best to eyeball. I think I pushed it a little bit off to the side. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop overthinking it. I need to sand this though. I need to sand that little lip off a little bit first. I did look for like solid squares, and I looked in our scrap pile and I'm like, you know, Chris is busy. I always feel bad at having to ask him to cut wood, like find me wood, and like, I'm just gonna order the hollow squares. It'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and, before I lose that, sand that little edge off there. Okay, so now I can take glue. Just use this to spread it around. Talk about a snug fit, but that's okay because that's kind of how that other one is. Now I'm going to sand these little edges so that it's not mass produced hard. Just wanted to take that sharp edge off. Then I remembered Chris has a brush. I'm like, oh yeah, he has a brush to do this. There again, just eyeballing. The other one, I'm going to sand that down now. More glue. Then I'm going to turn this so the rounded part is down. I'm going to add 2 of these just to make a little lip. And then what I'm going to end up doing after getting this piece on, I'm going to put a gallon paint can on top of it to act like a clamp to push it down. Take some clamps, clamp those two pieces together because it's just that type of wood. See, that'll work. So I have another one of the squares. You're gonna ask me. I'll link them. I didn't have the measuring tape out on me, so I'm gonna put one here and then just put one here. It's just gonna be a small little riser. Actually, I could do two and make it a little bit taller. So like I could make it thicker. I could do that. Do that. Which do I like? What do I like? That. Where I didn't have Chris router. I'm not getting the router back out. It intimidated me. That. I kind of like that. Just a little short. I bought this piece out of out of a person's booth. Let's see what that looks like. The guy that I get my legs from. My legs. you know. He always has. Oh, I do like that, y'all. Yeah, I might do that. There you go. Yeah. Get all those together. My legs. He turns legs, but he doesn't sell online. He only sells at Hog Creek where we have our booth. So I'm going to do some sanding on these and then get them glued together. Just going to turn this away. And then, of course, I thought about this after doing the first one. I'm like, I didn't feel like I could staple through, but I could have stapled them to the bottom. Or, you know, you think about things afterwards. So just something to hold it on there. If it goes off a little unperfect, it's okay. But I'm not taking the other one apart. I'll just put some staples, some brads in it afterwards. This piece of wood is like a different material. It's not the cheap pine. So, yeah. Anyway, so sometimes you have an afterthought, or you know, we always have, like I said, you have to be new at some time doing stuff. So. I feel like I want the rounded down. I feel like I want the rounded down so they're meeting each other. These are just those rounds that you can buy. You know, this one was from Hobby Lobby, when it was 40% off. And I actually had Chris go with the router, so it didn't look like one of those that a lot of people make signs out of. So it does need sanded, and I'm just going to add some little feet to this. Something simple. Now these are just little candle holders, and they came, I don't know why they came, they were a set of 5. So that is what I want to use. And these were from Hobby Lobby. These, because what is it? Like under $4.99, there's not the 40% off. So we're just going to attach these little legs on here. Though I'm a little worried about the hollow, but I'm going to glue it together first. Because I didn't like it this way. I did not like it that way. I definitely liked it this way, a little chunkier feet. But this is good glue. And I can come up with something if I need to. I don't think they're going to be structurally. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about it, but if you've not used the Quick and Thick before, it is thick. It is much thicker. Just going to get them all glued and then play with where their placement. They look good. Just try to get the excess off there without moving them around too much. Okay, Amazon squares. Hobby Lobby, which is a little bit thicker than what I get off of Amazon. They both work the same. And we're just going to make one like, look at, cute. I love doing I do, y'all. But remember, I cut in the middle of, if you've not seen this before, cut in the middle of one of these. That way you can round off to the side and have your sides matching. So we're going to do that first before attaching some cute little legs. So I'm just going to take a pencil, try to do halfway, just eyeball and eyeball. So I have a couple of cuts to make. I need to change the size of my brads out because I'm going to shoot it when I get it glued on through here. And the ones I used for the other risers were much longer. So they do come in a whole bunch of different sizes. So I just need some little guys. So some glue. It wasn't going all the way through and hurting somebody. So now take that piece. I've got my one that is half. So that one will be good at that end. And then we will make a mark, and then I'll go back over to the bandsaw until I have it all wrapped around. So see, then that makes just a nice, instead of doing it at where you hardly can match up, it just makes a strong corner by trying to cut in half. And you can't really pre-cut them all the same length because then each time you're adding on that little bit. So even though I'm doing, I mean, I go make a set. Yeah, it doesn't. Nope. Hey, girl can try. So I have to cut a new piece. So for these, I got these cute little legs. Oh, so cute. 4-pack. I mean, I think he charges like $5 or something like that. I don't know. I usually am buying groupings. It's nice because I can run like 10 minutes away going, oh, I would like to use some legs. 2 different woods. It's going to end up being painted anyway. So I think I'm just going to go ahead. Where do I? Yeah, I think I want them there. That way I can glue and nail in with the brad nailer. But I better change out my nails because these are just little guys. I'm gonna Bondo anyway, so I'm not worried about nail holes. So I'm just gonna keep that nice and tight right into that corner there. That made it nice because I have that little corner pocket. I can just stick it in there. Okay, there's one. I'm not gonna worry about the glue. And then we're gonna put same little feet on this one, so that way if somebody wants a tear, what if you want? maybe. I'm going to be doing some Bondo to cover up the edge, where the seams are, where I put the brad nails. A little bit of putty. Oh, here in my magic jar is a concoction of Waverly antiquing. So this is a quart jar. I do like 2 spoonfuls of the Waverly antiquing wax, and then I do a half a scoop of the ink Waverly chalk paint. I'm just stirring it because it does like to settle onto the bottom. But now I'm going to stain all my boards before pre-painting them. It's just going to give them more of an aged look, hopefully. It's raw pine, so it should. I'm just going to kind of like help it along. Like, get in there. Keep it, you know, I don't want to just wipe on, wipe off, because it needs to soak into this wood. And even these, I shot them with a couple brads and then filled it in with the Bondo. I just don't want it, I don't want it to necessarily look like new wood. I don't know what it'll do to these little legs, but we're going to be painting them, but just in case, I'd like it to kind of be chippy and aged. You never know what it's going to turn out. You just give it a good dry. And wherever there was glue, it probably won't absorb in, but as I said, we're going to be painting it anyway, but just want to get that underneath aged a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do that all over. I don't want them to feel left out. I know it's the underneath, but we do all parts. No, it's probably not going to absorb into the Bondo. That's not what we're going for anyway. Just that really raw, brand new pine. I'm not worried about wiping off. I'm just letting it soak in. Now I needed to let them dry overnight to make sure that that was good and dry. So now I'm just going to take spray shellac because I think that'll be the easiest with all those grooves so I don't get drips, and seal that in. And then I don't want to re-wet it too much with the brush on kind because I don't want to reactivate what I did to try to stain that wood. Actually look at the little cracks that did for whatever reason, but that gives it character, so I'm good with that as long as it's not pulling the two pieces apart with it, which it's not. For whatever reason, it just cracked. To get an old time weathered, I love to use milk paint, so for this one I'm going to use Sweet Pickins Flour Sack. I have similar to that one that are green, so I'm going to go white. So yes, milk paint gives it an old-timey look. it crackles and chips if you can come up with the right concoction. It's unpredictable, so you just kind of have to take what you get. So as you see, it's a powder paint. Directions say to mix it with equal parts water. I kind of do a little bit less, or sometimes you got to do a little bit more. You kind of just figure out what the mixture works for you. And then you want to make sure that you stir it, incorporate all that water in with the powder, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom. Recommended to stir it for about 2 minutes to get it all incorporated. And then it will thicken up, and sometimes you'll know if you didn't put enough water, if you need more water. When you can't move the paint, that would be your sign. Another way you can get some aged look is in this little Ziploc. I have Sweet Pickins beeswax. The pretty bees don't stay there forever. And then I'm just going to wipe it on this piece. So whatever sticks, sticks. What doesn't stick, sticks. It's hard because you don't see it. So sometimes I'm putting too much, I'm putting too little, one or the other, I'm not sure. But where you put the beeswax, the paint's not necessarily going to adhere to the object. So if you want something to chip off, this is a good way to get it to maybe chip off. So you kind of just like a field test. Kind of hard to do it's hard to do the legs. You can use candle wax, whatever, whatever works for you. I think the product is made to go together, so see, as my paint was sitting, it thickened up more, so I'm just going to put a dab. It's amazing what just a little dab of water will do. But if you can't stir it and you can't move it around, you're not going to be able to paint with it. But you don't want it so runny that 20 coats later, I finally got my white white done. So of course I'm going to start off with my bottom, do my legs. It's leg day. Oh. I like that the Waverly Antiquing concoction made its way down to the bottom. That really makes it look old. And then you just learn, if you're trying to brush it on and even it out, you don't want to do that. You just want to get some on, let it glide. It'll puff up because it's got water in it. It does it in a wonderful chemical reaction. I don't know if it's a chemical. I don't know. It does wonderful things sometimes when you're least expecting it. When you're hoping for it, it's like, nah, I don't want to do that today. Now, try to flip. So try to flip. Try to flip. Catch those feet, what you missed when it was upside down. Sometimes I get like a little ball, like where I didn't get it all the way. I don't mind them because then it does some fun things. I'm not looking for this. You're not looking for a perfect paint job when it comes to milk paint, I don't think. The whole purpose, I think anyway, is to make something look old and worn and aged. One of my scallops, I did bayberry on a little chest. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. I'm gonna do it again. See, those are those little, like the little white and the blue specks that sometimes they do come off on your paint when you're painting, and I don't mind it. I don't remember seeing it before. Well, I did see it on the so if you're looking for a perfect paint job, don't use milk paint. If you're looking for tons of character and charm, see, because look at, even you see the blue. I don't know, it just does that. And you should use a lot less water definitely, I should have only put 1 scoop of water in there. So now I need some more powder because I can tell that's not going to thicken up to do the 1 coat coverage that I want to do. I don't want to be here all day painting. Somebody wants an honest review of their product. I'm giving an honest review. I mean, we use it. I don't want to tell you, like, you know. I do like the character and charm that this paint does, though. It still crackles. It doesn't give it the biggest crackles as the Sweet Pickins does. It's just different. It's a different product. It's like thinking all paint, regular paints will be the same. No, there's just something about these scallops that just have I cannot get enough of scallops. I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to put some beeswax on it. I'm not going to worry so much about the bottom. So whatever doesn't stick, we'll see. I haven't used beeswax with the Homestead house yet, so we will see. But I got to paint my bottom first and flip it over and do the other. I know I probably could have left like the feet natural, but that's kind of hard to just like work around or add them on afterwards. But then you need to other things to do to get the feet to stick. So that doesn't really work out either. So paint, they're getting painted. Look at all angles, make sure everything's least covered. Now we can flip it and do the top. That's why I was trying to keep it off the very bottom of the feet so that way I could do this. And I think just to keep the same texture, I'm going to do porcelain, which is a white. I will say using milk paint, I don't ruin clothes because until you seal it in, it will come out in the wash. So not like, yeah. So I don't ruin as many clothes. So I'm going to do the beeswax again. Didn't put wax in the legs because the legs are not even close to being the same color of the top wood, in case anybody was going to ask that question. For my more salvage looking ones, I'm still going to do, probably the big one, I'm going to do some flour sack. I have flour sack left from one of the other ones that I did, but if I add powder to, especially since that's already so thick, it's not going to mix well. I can add it together after I've mixed the two together, and it'll be fine, but I can't mix it while this is dry powder, if that makes sense. When it comes to salvage pieces, usually my best salvage pieces that I sell that are true salvaged have been white, of course, and then natural, if they're in good shape, natural, whatever the wood was, and then green. That's just how it goes, you guys. That's how it goes. So this is my other. So I'm just putting the two together now that I've mixed it. And now they will incorporate together. I know I've had some blue salvage, some pink salvage, and I think it's still in my booth. I've not sold it. The wax. Now those 3 pieces are really dry. Well, kind of how we have to do it here. Concentrate on the top. I'm not positive if I'm going to actually try to paint the bottom of these or not. Even though this is a reproduction The bottoms would not, or like the one I have is not painted. Craftsman. So this should be a really light green. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay, there again, I'm going to do some of the wax. Probably not so much on that really shiny one. I'm afraid too much wax on that one, it might come off. Probably should have roughed it up a little bit. You know, everything's always an afterthought sometimes. But these are really dry. Those pine. Yeah, just a nice mint. Nice spring green. My tulips are popping. I see my two little tulips heads. I didn't see any crocuses yet, but I did see tulips. Little heads anyway. Oh, it's on its way after this long winter we've had. Maybe we just have had too nice of winters in the past. Now the places that this lifted, stuck to the board, of course, is where the wax was. But that's what gives it that salvage look. I'm not even going to attempt to try to glue them down. We're just going to let it do that. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to seal this white in. Beautiful cracks, crazes. Hoping that doesn't chip off too much more, but it's all good. So I'm just going to seal the white paint in with some weather defense. There we go. Little bitty crackles. I'm going to take the sander, clean up this bottom, and sand the rest. Of course, you can't get everything with the power sander, so I'll go back in by hand. It's got to be better about putting gloves on, so I'm not sanding my nail polish. I was off. I just get working on a project and I don't think about that until I do that. So I think it's pretty, just simple little crackles, little chippiness here and there. Whatever came off, came off. I think maybe on this piece, and it could not totally be the two different paints between the white piece that I did the Sweet Pickens and this one that I did the Fusions Homestead House. Just two different products, but still an aged result. So I like the difference. I like that my items are always looking like they're all the same. So the wax, I think, worked. But I did let these dry overnight, y'all. So yeah, this was a few day process, but that's okay. I always have other things to do. So I'm using Fusion's clear wax to seal the milk paint in. I didn't feel like I needed to do a spray sealer on this one because the chippiness isn't just coming off as I'm touching it. That's why I used the spray sealer on the first one, because it was just, if I started to sand it, I might lose all of it. So I know how that is. Wax on, wax off. Look at all that. Oh, goodness. Sometimes it picks up from my board. So I am going to seal this in with some weather defense. Get this unstuck. Oh, even without any wax down there, it still looks pretty. I am going to go ahead and sand this. I don't think it looks like it's coming off in terribly huge chunks, only where the little pile of powder buildup. all good. It's all good. Okay, even though I sanded this one first, I'm going to put weather defense to seal it in. I don't think it's going to chip off or anything, but I just want to protect that white paint. So how did the darker color do? I might have needed 2 coats on this one, but I'm not putting another coat on. This is a little thin here, but it's okay. You know, we're just having fun playing with this new milk paint, making some salvage pieces, beautiful cracking going on there. You know, we can critique our work all day long, but I'm going to sand it and see what we got. Okay, there it is, all sanded. So we're going to use aging wax. I didn't spray this with a clear coat, I'm just sealing it in with the aging wax. Oh, it's such a pretty color. Now, even though I put a clear coat on here, I'm still going to go ahead and wax it. I just like the feel of wax on an item, and you know that your paint, even though it looks chippy, it may still come off because there's wax underneath there. I know my original one, I never sealed in with any spray, and I got little paint pieces all the time. But since I'll be selling these, I want to try my best to keep the paint on for you. Character. It's all about character. This is dry now, so I'm going to go ahead and sand it. Like I said, I use those boards a lot to carry things, so sometimes I pick up some paint. It's all good. Just do some clear on top of that. Just keep my gloves on. So that's what sanded off. You just take it as it is. So I'm going to seal everything in with some clear wax. I don't think I need any of the darker wax on there. That crackle is showing up beautifully.